Not very many people talk about what it actually means to be a creator, and so when some of us are joining this journey, we have no idea that some of these things are going to be challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to share with you my top 5 and sure you stick around to number 5. It's the one I'm continuing to struggle with even right now. So let's get started. Number 1 is the time spent researching. Whether you're researching for ideas for your content, or you're researching your audience, or you're researching what the competitors are doing, or you're researching new trends, like you spend a whole lot of time researching. Now some of that time is going to be actual researching, as in you're researching and you're actually learning something, but some of that is going to be spent on mindless scrolling, and I have done my fair share of that. So how I'm trying to resolve this one is that I have downloaded this app and it helps me set usage time for different apps. So for example, if I find that I'm using most of my time looking for content ideas on TikTok and then finding myself mindlessly scrolling, I have set a usage timer for that. So every day I can only be on TikTok for maybe 30 to 40 minutes. So this helps me because I know if I spend my time mindlessly scrolling, then I'm not going to be getting any ideas. On top of that, I have a journal. So in that journal, I write my ideas. So essentially is that every day I have to fill in something in that journal. I have to fill in, this is the idea I want to do and I want to do it like this. And in that way, I sort of feel that there's a lot of fulfillment to that. Number 2 is the shiny object syndrome. And this one is a classic. So essentially what happens when you're getting in the content creation game, you know that you want to start with this niche. So you start with it, you do a few videos on that, and then you see somebody else who is doing videos on a different niche, getting more views or getting more engagement or being able to monetize in different ways, and immediately you want to move to that niche. So the shiny object syndrome is there even when you're doing a physical business or when you're doing other physical things, because when you hear of a new idea, you immediately want to rush to that one, and then you're abandoning this one. You don't know whether it would have worked. So for me, initially, it was a big challenge because I was also getting to learn my audience, but right now I feel I am better equipped to say no, or to say this is not the kind of thing that I want to chase, or say this one is not for me. So it gets easier with time. I also think that as you continue to create, you also find what it is you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and that helps towards that. But just be aware of the shiny object syndrome. So when you find yourself rushing into another thing, just take time to think about it and process. Ask yourself, if I do this thing I am doing for the next 5 years, is it going to work? Are the benefits going to be better, or should I follow this new thing? And by the way, if you're interested in growing as a creator, I'm going to continue sharing all my best tips, so ensure you subscribe to the channel. Number 3, and this one is a big one, is the actual process of content creation. So when you're coming into content creation, you think you're just going to come, record a video, and then you put it out there. But then the actual process takes time. So you have to research the idea, you have to list them down, choose the one you think is going to perform the best. After that, you have to script it or structure it, and then you have to record it, edit it, do color grading. You have to also add music in there. You have to add some effects. If you want to add effects, you have to add graphics in there. You have to do thumbnails for that. And after posting, you also need to look at your analytics. So the entire process actually takes time, and it is something that you get to grow in. I'd say that I also have a really long way to go before I can perfect the entire process or make it more effective for myself. So that is something that you have to know and appreciate, that the process is going to take you time, it's also going to take some effort, and also there's a learning curve towards that. But be patient and just make your next video better than the last one. Number 4 is comparison, and you can even put judgment in here. So what usually happens when you're doing content creation, the other people creating content in your same niche. So when you're creating your content and then you're putting it out there and you're not getting the same amount of views as the other people in your niche, you start to compare yourself against other people, you start to judge yourself, to judge your content, and then somehow you stop creating content. On the other side, we also have people who are your friends and family. So they look at content that you're creating, and then they look at content that is being created by other people, and they tell you, I think you shouldn't do this, I think you should be doing this. And you know, content creation, you know, sort of comes from the heart. So when they tell you that, sometimes you feel, okay, maybe I'm not doing such a good job, but I don't want to do what they are saying to do. I don't want to go in that direction. But then you don't know what to do. You're sort of stuck in a dilemma because what you're doing doesn't seem to be working. What they're saying you do may be working for somebody else. You don't know whether it will work for you, and you don't even want to do it in the first place. So that is something that you have to work through. You have to start becoming confident in what you're doing. You have to love what you're doing. If you do it and you love it, the passion is going to come through, and there are going to be people who are going to be able to resonate with that content. Number 5, and this one is a really big one. I'm actually struggling with this exact thing at this exact moment, is being able to find a niche and also finding a platform that you enjoy and that you're going to be able to reach that niche. So personally, how I'm facing this challenge is because I want to continue doing digital marketing, but then I want to narrow it down. So I'm at a dilemma on what I really want to focus on. So on one side, we have the AI tools that you can use for digital marketing, which I really love to do. On the other side, we have content marketing. I also really love to, especially when I'm doing in-depth tutorials with Canva, and I also want to do video marketing. So all those things I'm I'm really passionate about, but sometimes some of those things are going to be serving different audiences. So I'm getting closer and closer to niching down. But the other thing is about the platform. So when you're talking about the platforms, we're talking about the platform that you shall be able to put content on to be able to reach your audience. So you could be talking about blog posts, we could be talking about YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So I'm really heavy on TikTok right now, but I want to also be able to transition into YouTube because I really love to do detailed tutorials and I'm not able to do very detailed ones on TikTok. So the thing is, on TikTok I have a higher following than I have on YouTube, but I really want to transition. It is something that I have decided for myself. It is something that I really want to pursue. So those are the things that you really have to struggle with when you're doing content creation. I don't know where you are at in your content creation journey, but I'd like to hear from you. Which one of these things are you also struggling with? If you want to see how I grew my TikTok account from 0 to 50,000 followers, you can also watch the video on the screen. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Peris and I'll catch you in the next one.